Guys, I feel I owe you all a Christmas present. And what better Christmas present to give you all than one of the most based politicians in DC speaking on the state of our political landscape. That's right, Bernie Sanders put out a new YouTube video about 5 days ago I've been meaning to cover, simply called Welcome to the World of Oligarchy. It actually went giga-viral. Unlike most of Bernie Sanders' videos that get like maybe 10,000 views, it's genuinely like disheartening to me when I see his videos not pop off as much as I should hope they would. This one has nearly 2 million views in 5 days. Genuinely insane. I'm really happy to see that this video is taking off, but I've not watched it at all yet. Now, I love Bernie Sanders. I'm a big fan of him. I've listened to him speak a lot, as you can imagine, considering I do a decent impression, I like to think. The American people are tired of women. I think I do a decent enough impression of Bernie. My fellow Americans, we need a universal healthcare program for all. I think it's all right. I think it's okay. Now, we got Bernie here. He's talking about the world of oligarchy we're entering. I'm assuming it has to do with Elon Musk trying to buy, like, all of Western politics. He's already succeeded at doing it in America. It's why the trend President Musk has been popping off, and boy, you better believe it's been making Trump mad. It's actually really funny. I'll probably talk about that tomorrow as its own dedicated segment. But, that aside, let's see what Bernie has to say. Sit your white asses down. Bernie is speaking.
Hello, everybody. As I am sure you have heard, there is a lot that's going on here in Washington, D.C. So let me say a few words and try to explain it. Bottom line, after all is said and done, is that after months of negotiations, Senate Democrats and House Republicans reached an agreement called a continuing resolution, which would continue to...
Yeah, this is basically preventing a government shutdown. Get ready for a lot of government shutdowns under Trump. We had more than ever in American history under his first term. Oh boy. Although to be fair, maybe there won't be government shutdowns, because if that happens, it would probably be caused by the Democrats, and they don't tend to do that kind of thing. And the Republicans have so much control that, like, they don't have to play those dirty games to keep the Dems from getting something passed anymore.
To fund the government for 3 months. Frankly, that agreement was not something that I was all that excited about, but it was better than nothing. And I was prepared and am prepared to vote for it. And one of the reasons is that it contained a reasonable increase in funding for primary health care, something that I feel very strongly about and that my committee, the Health, Education, Labor, and Pension Committee, is responsible for. And given the enormous crises that we're facing in healthcare in this country today, it really would be of help to many millions of Americans.
I really do think that Bernie could have won if he ran in 2028. If he was the age he was in 2016, or 2020, I would say, and ran the campaign he did in 2020, in 2028, I think he wins. The American people, left and right, MAGA and Democrat, are more than ever leaning more towards Bernie's populist, pro-worker brand of politics. Trump co-opted populist, pro-worker rhetoric because he needed to win. He had to do that to win. I think that Bernie, having always used this rhetoric, running on the rhetoric that Trump had to run on in order to win, we see that, like, AOC won Trump supporters and Dem voters cross-ballot. It really does go to show that this rhetoric is what the American people want. MAGA won because they co-opted the idea of lowering the cost of living and improving the workers' quality of life and financial standing. Withdrawing funds from foreign war that maybe, but probably not, go to healthcare. Because the American people want healthcare. They want it paid for not with more taxes, but reallocated funds from global military involvement and military-industrial complex spending.
What this legislation would do is significantly, or modestly at least, increase funding for community health centers all over this country, which treat about 30 million Americans who are low income or working class. And it would also increase the number of young doctors who go out into rural America and also into underserved areas. That is where we need the doctors and the nurses, and that's what this legislation would do. In any case, within the House of Representatives, the Republican House, and the Democratic Senate, there was widespread agreement on this resolution. And it was just about ready to be passed. In fact, the Republicans posted it on their website. We were ready to go. But then, out of nowhere, the wealthiest man in the world, Elon Musk, began tweeting his opposition to this legislation. In fact, he was very blunt about it. He told Republicans that if they voted for this proposal, which they had already agreed to do, he would take out his wallet and spend as much money as it took to defeat them in primaries and drive them out of office. You got that?
Outright mob shit. Now the standard in D.C. Welcome to the world of oligarchy, baby.
Take a deep breath and appreciate what's going on here. The wealthiest person in the world, who spent at least $277 million to elect Donald Trump in a Republican Congress, has now claimed complete ownership of that party. And what he is saying is, hey, Republicans, forget your constituents, forget your constitutional responsibilities. If you don't do what I, Elon Musk, want you to do, you're out of office. And I have the money to do just that. My friends, what we are looking at here has nothing to do with democracy. What we are looking at here is oligarchy. This is up and up. Government by the billionaire class for the billionaire class. And by the way,
I'm telling you, dude, this rhetoric is going to catch on hard in the next 4 years. Mark my words. This rhetoric is going to catch on hard, and it is going to benefit the left substantially in the next 4 years. We need to, if we can galvanize people hard enough, we might be able to perform very well in the midterms. But if we really work hard, we can take the next election, assuming we have one. I'm going to operate assuming that we will.
Wait, Musk is not only trying to intimidate Republicans, he is trying to inject himself into the Democratic Party as well. He is threatening to target Democrats who are standing up to him and his agenda. Further, and very dangerously, and this is the guy you know who owns Twitter, as part of his campaign to defeat this resolution, Musk has been spreading an enormous amount of disinformation and outright lies about what is in the bill. He said that the measure would include a 40% pay raise for Congress. That's a lie. It is a 3.9% increase, the same as federal employees are receiving. He said that this legislation would fund bioweapons labs. Not true. In fact, it provides funds to protect Americans from emerging infectious diseases. He said that the country would...
I'm gonna guess it like funds laboratories where they study these diseases and figure out like what makes them stronger, what makes them weaker. And so Elon Musk framed it as they're experimenting on the diseases to make them stronger for like bio warfare. It's the kind of conspiracy shit the Republicans spew up.
Would be just fine if the government shut down. Really? Here's what happens if Mr. Musk gets his way and the deal implodes. Funding for kids' cancer research gets cut. At a time when we are already paying the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, pharmaceutical middlemen will be able to continue to overcharge you for your prescriptions. Americans recovering from devastating floods, fires, and hurricanes, often due to climate change, won't get the help that they need. That's what happens if the proposal goes down. And what happens if the government shuts down? Well, our troops won't get their paychecks. Nearly 7 million women and children who rely on WIC nutrition assistance could go hungry.
Do any government workers get their paychecks after whatever is left in the pot dries up? I know there was a big deal about during the last government shutdown, it was so long that a ton of government workers weren't getting paid, including United States Postal Service workers. You know, the USPS, the like most efficient government agency there is. Trump tried to shut it down, defund it, and gut it during his first term, particularly to stop mail-in ballots, but because in general it's a service that is good and that Americans like. Yeah. They do this kind of thing. It's kind of their bread and butter.
And 2 million federal government workers, some of whom don't make a whole lot of money, won't be getting paid. Now let us be very clear. Elon Musk was not elected to be president of the United States. In fact, he was not elected to be dog catcher. And by the way, what all of this hoopla is really about, above and beyond everything I'm talking about, is that when Trump and Musk come into power in late January, do you know what their first order of business will be? You think it'll be to fix healthcare? You think it'll be deal with climate change? Deal with homelessness?
Here's my prediction of what he's going to say. If he's right, this is what he's going to say. They're going to update that tax policy that Trump passed in his first term, had an 8-year lifespan, that drastically lowered taxes and opened up loopholes to scapegoat taxes or escape taxes for millionaires and billionaires, particularly billionaires. His billionaire buddies, Elon and Trump and their billionaire buddies, are all relying on the renewal of that tax policy that they have been benefiting from for 8 years now. If he's right, that's what he's going to say. They're going to renew that right away. They're going to cut the taxes for those billionaires.
Well, if you thought that, you're dead wrong. Their first order of business will be to provide massive tax breaks for the wealthiest people in this country and the largest corporations. So think about it. At a time of unprecedented income and wealth inequality, when Musk himself is worth almost $500 billion, what these guys want to do is give more tax breaks to billionaires and the heads of large corporations. So where do we go from here? Let us understand the gravity of what we are dealing with. This is not politics as usual. This is not just Democrats versus Republicans, conservatives versus...
God, this rhetoric is going to be effective. I do think that, like, for some videos, especially when I'm talking about this electoral stuff, I'm going to kind of, like, hide my power level a little bit, you know? I'm going to be like, guys, this isn't a left versus right thing. If you're a conservative and you're watching this, I'm not attacking you here. I'm trying to make you see the corporate ivory tower coastal elites have tricked you. They pretend like they're down-to-earth, normal people, but they're really just serving those corporate interests and selling it to you in a completely different package. All that is true, but kind of hide your power level a bit to show that you're not just... You don't want them to think right away, oh, you're just a progressive. Obviously, you'd call this stuff out, even if it wasn't real. You want them to think about it and notice it before they recognize that you're, arguing from a certain side. Zan, I don't think that works if you admit it on stream. It does, Wild Rose. That's not how... that's not how it works, okay? I promise you that people aren't going to be like, well, that one time on stream, you said that you were going to hide your power level. It's like, it won't be an issue, I promise.
As liberals or progressives. It's much deeper than that. What we are dealing with right now is that the billionaire class, which owns so much of our economy, which owns so much of our media, they are now moving aggressively to own our political system as well. So we got a lot of work in front of us. We've got to educate, we've got to organize, and we have got to stop them. Thank you very much. Have a great holiday season.
Hell yeah. You too, Bernie Sanders. Have a good holiday season to you too. Listen, Bernie's got some pretty big flaws, don't get me wrong, but I really do like him. He is one of the better politicians out there. I think AOC takes the cake, though. AOC's number one. Okay, let's read some of the comments. First, we get our holiday music back on. A significant problem in U.S. politics started when big money was called donations rather than bribery. This feels like one of those video logs that you can find in a post-apocalyptic or dystopian video game, which is kind of depressing. Best first step would be for all of us to start calling lobbyism what it is, or lobbying what it is, corruption. Regardless of whether you're Democrat or Republican, this needs to be heard. America is an oligarchy with unlimited political bribery. Jimmy Carter, after United, or Citizens United. It's wild. Everyone was like, Biden is fine for his age, but then there's Bernie, a year older, sharp as ever, laying it out fast and loud. Historians won't be able to say we were not warned. Or historians won't be able to say we were not warned, yeah. Whichever intern got this man onto YouTube, give them a raise. Lobbying should be illegal. My husband has type 2 diabetes. We live in Spain. His tablets cost under $10 a month. The health system in the US is terrifying. Greed, greed, greed. Yep. Cross over the border, go to Canada, go to Mexico. You can buy that shit over the counter for pennies on the dollar of what you get it for in America. All because of artificially inflated prices for life-saving medications. It's just the standard here. It's just American healthcare. Anyway, guys, if you found this video educational, entertaining, or enjoyable, then please consider leaving a like and or a comment. It really does help a lot. Likes and comments are totally free, and the best way to support my channel on YouTube is every single time you do that, it boosts my channel in the algorithm and forces YouTube to put my content in front of new viewers. It really does help a lot and means a ton, so thank you guys. And of course, if you want to support me and see more from me on other platforms, be sure to follow my social medias linked down below in the description, especially my Blue Sky and my fan Discord server, the main hub of my community and fan base. And finally, if you want to support me directly, financially, you can afford it, and you want to help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, StreamElements, Patreon, or buy some merch, some Xander Hall merch, through the Streamlabs link down below in the description. Regardless of how you support me, though, thank you so much for watching as always, and have a good one.